Dear friends, hello everyone. Today I have special guests, two members from the Storioni Trio, wonderful musicians, violinist Wouter Vossen and pianist Bart van der Roer, and I'm also very good friends of mine, so I'm very happy that you could make it and we could have this great talk, and that I'll see you of course in Delft Festival this summer.
Yeah,
yes,
it's going to be fantastic.
I hope
yeah,
so.
we are looking forward.
Yes, I hope so. So let's start from the beginning. I think probably you've told many times about it, but still our audience would like to hear the beginnings of the trio. How was it for you? And
well, I was not allowed.
You was okay.
No. So Marc, my brother, and Bart, they were having a very successful duo.
Ah, really?
And I was occasionally invited to turn pages. But I was so bad doing that, I was very nervous that they said, never mind, just play the violin, and then, you know, more or less.
More or
less the same. Bart, I think I trust you more with this.
Of course, they are brothers, so they were playing for years and years and years already. And then, indeed, I started playing with Marc, cello-piano duo. And then at some point, it naturally went into the Storioni Trio.
Yeah.
And we actually started not at all with the idea, okay, let's have a trio and try to get concerts, but there was a very small concert and we chose some repertoire.
Where was it? Do you still remember the first venue?
Yeah, it's a bit painful to say. It was at some dinner party or something.
Yeah.
It was a very...
Upright piano?
Yeah. A very interesting setting. It was not... Let's say that the first concert was not very glorious. But it was big fun to work together, and we felt that it was nice to continue. And then more concerts came, and bit by bit it started to be the Storioni Trio.
And already last year you had the anniversary.
Yes, actually during this Corona pandemic we chose to celebrate our 25th anniversary season. But we have been lucky. We have had some great concerts in between the lockdowns, and of course lots of projects have been postponed. But it was difficult for everybody, not just for us.
It was a special year for everyone.
Yeah, I think we should decide to celebrate next year 25 plus 1 or something. To have a chance to celebrate.
Yeah. But before we go on, also about the name, I know of course, but maybe the audience doesn't know. So how's the Storioni Trio? Why is the Storioni?
Yeah, so Laurentius Storioni was a very famous violin maker from Cremona, and I was lucky enough, also 25 years ago, to be allowed to play one of his instruments, and by the Elise Mathilde Foundation. And then we were looking for a name. And actually, I think you or Marc came up with the idea. Let's make it Storioni because it sounds
great.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a logic combination, and this time a trio anyway.
Yeah,
it's not such a good
but
idea.
it also changes your instrument. It won't be anyway. It can also depends on the instrument.
And actually, Marc got a very beautiful cello, but it came a few years later. So had it been the other way around,
it was a logic choice, and it works.
And yes, we were speaking about the project that you wanted, and there was supposed to be a big Beethoven celebration, of course, last year. That somehow went into a different direction. But I'm very happy that in Delft you are going to play two of the beautiful Beethoven pieces, right?
Yes.
So that's the symphony,
the symphony,
second symphony, and then you're going to play the Ghost Trio as well.
Yeah.
So can you, your relationship with Beethoven and the season, were you supposed to do many concerts with Beethoven, and how about the recordings? And maybe you can tell us more about it.
Well, we always play a lot of Beethoven because it's so much the core of the repertoire actually. So whether it's a Beethoven season or not, we also do sometimes all Beethoven series or productions, but in this case this second symphony, it's an arrangement made by Beethoven himself, and it's a unique chance to appreciate his talent in another way, because it's not that you just says, okay, the violinist will play the violin parts from the symphony, and the cello will play his part, and then the rest is done by the piano. No, he's really mixing all the voices. So I'm playing clarinet, first flute, Marc's playing bassoon, horn, and everything, and Bart is, you know, doing all the rest. But
which is still very challenging, I can imagine.
Yeah, but it's such imaginative arranging also from his own music. It's beautiful, no?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to play it. I mean, of course, what's interesting is the skill of the piece. With the trios, of course, Ed Herzog is like really a long piece. It's a widespread way of telling the story, but most of the trios, especially at the time of the Second Symphony, they're relatively short and compact.
Exactly.
But I think the slow movement of Second Symphony is about 14 minutes already.
Yeah,
it's like really this. He takes his time, and it's very beautiful, and that's very interesting to add a new way of composing and a new. A new way of storytelling, actually, and you get to know the composer from a different side.
And how do you approach it, as an orchestra piece or as a chamber music piece?
It's a bit a mixture.
Yeah. You know, me being a concertmaster and Marc being leader of the cello section.
You've played it many times.
We've played it many times, also with some really interesting conductors, and this, of course, you bring back to the trio, but. On the other hand, it is a trio, so you also
you have to deal with the sounds that's possible with the trio.
Yes,
so you can't say, okay, with the orchestra we always do like this, because it's not necessarily working in the new setting.
But I must say, it's one of the pieces where the adrenaline, the energy, is really going through the roof. No, it is like
I think it's amazing.
It's like a rocket taking off.
And it was written in a very difficult period for Beethoven. I mean, I'm totally amazed how he could just turn the drama in his life into such a party in music. I think this is one of the few composers that could do that, because normally the personal life is affected. You can also hear that in music, but with him it was like the ideal world. I think in music
could be an escape.
Yes.
Could work like that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, in the festival we are doing another arrangement with. I will be playing the violin concerto, which he also himself
I will also give you. Well, you already have 5 concertos. Why? No,
but kidding. I heard now recently that Beethoven wrote a very big cadences for the piano version. So I also heard that violinists actually do play our cadences. So I mean, there is an exchange in a way. But I mean, the reason I asked you also how you approach it, because I had to change the tempi, for example, because the violin, of course, could the sound of violin could go on forever, right? And we don't have that possibility on the piano, so the sound just dies out. So I can imagine that also affects on your
maybe without going too much in detail, but what happens a little bit in the Second Symphony is that he writes in the piano a lot of very fast tremolo-like passages, and that would work on the old pianos.
Yes.
So you can really tell he wrote it for the old instruments. And it causes a little bit of trouble that we can't really reach the tempo that he might have imagined. We play some things a bit slower than maybe he imagined on the old piano. So there's also
compromise in a way, but only the best for the music. And we were just talking about the personal life of Beethoven, or what was happening in the world. And I mean, this year I'm not talking about it anymore, because I think we all want to forget it. But this was something, an event or happening in the world that really made a big left a big mark on all of us. What were the other events? Were there any other events in the world that really influenced you as personalities or as musicians?
In this year, or just in
generally? Were there any special? It could have been anything. Maybe in the country, in the world. Maybe different approach even to pieces or the way.
Well, I don't know events, but of course I met this really wonderful lady from Georgia, and you know her very well.
Yes.
And of course it opened up a whole new world for me. My children speak Georgian. I speak a little bit Georgian. We have a house there. We go there often. So it's like my tiny little Dutch life became already 21 years ago, enriched with, you know, another beautiful, and it made a huge impact on my life, I would say. Yeah, you know about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. And Bart?
Yeah, well, it's difficult to think of the one thing, but I think in general, family life, and I have two wonderful daughters, and seeing how they become more and more independent, and how this process works, that certainly affects you. I mean, it's in a very positive way, I would say.
Yeah.
It's very important in my day-to-day life, and I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, great. And of course, you travel, right? And you just mentioned you're in Georgia quite often when you can, and it's just a general way of life of musicians to travel from one place to another. And we have actually this concert, Wander, that me and Bart are playing this beautiful Schubert fantasy also. I'm so much looking forward to that. What is do you have an ideal place, or are you still looking for it, or do you?
I like to be surprised. So there's always the discussion going. Okay, would you like to have a holiday house somewhere, or would you spend the money for being able to go every year to a different place? And I would go every year to a different place. Yeah. So I'm.
You like to be surprised.
I like to be surprised, and then I can say, okay, this is a place where I could live, or here I definitely will not go anymore.
I like it. You know, I will give you a little insight from the Storioni Trio, because usually when we go somewhere where we haven't been, then Marc and Bart, they're planning. Okay, so when is the rehearsal? When is the concert? So, you know, in that afternoon, I read somewhere we can go there or there or there. Wouter, will you join? And I never want to, because I have a hard time combining this pleasure and work thing. So usually, I don't know, I practice a little bit or I rest or whatever, but they go about, you know, the city of, sometimes I join them, but they are much more adventurous in this.
I see.
Yeah, but if you ask me, the place where I want to wake up every day, actually, it's Tbilisi, of course. Yeah. But it's also because of the whole culture there, the friends we have. It's just wonderful.
Great.
Haven't been there for a while though. Yeah.
Yes, me too.
Yeah,
but
I know.
hopefully that will change very soon.
Yes. Yeah.
And how about the ideal stage, ideal concert hall? Where do you feel does it have to be really luxurious, or doesn't have to, or what is the most important point then?
There has to be a certain concentration, I would say, not necessarily because of that it's a sacred, like famous classical music temple.
But it has to sound good at least,
it has
right?
to sound good, and there has to be like a wish to listen to whatever is there and to experience. But it can be anywhere. It's,
and I must say, Corona also changes a little bit.
Yes.
Because, for instance, with all these limitations of 1.5 meters or sometimes even 2 meters, lots of things that you thought were very important became less important because you adapt.
Yes.
And of course, we had, just before the second lockdown, we had this wonderful opportunity to play in the main hall of the Concertgebouw piano trios. That's pretty near perfect. I mean, what else do you want?
Very nice.
But in a way, it's also what you say about concentration, where you take the trip together with your audience and you go somewhere, and then it actually doesn't matter that much anymore.
No.
At least. Yeah, of course, I'm a violinist. I take my own fiddle.
Yes.
You guys.
Yeah, I mean, it has to sound well. There has to be a nice piano, but besides that, it can happen everywhere. And sometimes you think you're in an ideal location, and then it doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes you have a very difficult struggle with the instrument, and somehow something happens that you always remember.
Yeah. I think I just realized, because after the lockdown, the first concert I played, it was a recital, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. And then after the concert, I thought, okay, of course the concentration from the public, it was even more, because everyone was just eager. But not only that, just the thought that there are no cameras. Yeah. Everything I played was just for that moment.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it so special, because that's...
and in a way, it's gone afterwards.
It's gone, so you cannot really get it back. It was just for that.
It's true.
totally unique experience.
Yeah, I think so. So I'm very grateful, and I'm very much looking forward to that we have the opportunity in Delft now to host a real festival with the real public. So that's so we cannot wait when this happens. But I have to also ask you this. We were just talking about this before we started the interview, organizing the festivals, and you have already experience for years organizing Storioni Festival. So could you explain in a few words what is it like? What are the challenges? What are the fun points?
The easy part is composing nice programs and inviting the right musicians. That's the easy part, I think. No?
Yeah.
Well, compared to all the things that are linked to production, organization, subsidies, traveling, all those kind of things.
Yeah, the trouble starts when exactly these kinds of elements interfere with your nice idea about the ideal program.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can sit at the table and make a nice program and have this idea of this program will be about. And then you come up with a repertoire that's very interesting. And then it happens that to be able to rehearse this piece enough, we might need an extra player because there's no room to put that together, and
no
then
flights coming in.
Then strange things can start to happen, and then you have to be super flexible. And
double bookings, very important. There's always somebody
at the last moment.
At the last moment.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I just realized I have already a concert in my agenda.
And then there is a red light going
off. And then we just take another viola player or another horn player. Never mind.
Yeah, it's I think the flexibility and let's say the
determination.
Yeah. And the will to solve things in as positive as possible.
Yes.
When things go wrong. In a friendly but clear way
and artistic and way. But also with you, it's three of you making the programs, right? Have you ever had have you ever argued about like musician or about that or this piece that you really wanted to play, but you heard from Wouter, for example, no way
that's going to
happen. No, we feel we all have our responsibility to actually also accept someone else's ideas and proposals, and luckily enough there have been enough festivals and concerts to be able to say, okay, this time we do what you propose, and then the next time let's try my thing. And it can be something about interpretation, or it can be something about programmation or casting of so it's all pretty vloeibaar, in our case. Fluent.
Great.
I think the good thing about being three is also that you get much more input, and it might be not like your ideal world, but at least how I experience it, 1 + 1 + 1 is not 3 but at least 5.
That's so true. It's so true.
And also when you have to solve difficult things, it's always good to look at it from different sides, and you might end up doing it in a way that, that's also an eye opener for yourself.
And we are very different, the three of us.
So you inspire each other in different ways. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. The theme of the festival in Delft this year is Brave New World. It's not really linked to the book, but it's just in our eyes what the new world could look like, and what are the new challenges, and maybe what do you think? What will be is after this whole year? We are still we are going back to the old in a way, but it's also in a new light, right? It's with a new. So what do you think for you? What is the new future?
Well, I think that this whole pandemic, maybe not for the people that had knowledge about it, but it came for a lot of people as a surprise. They were like, look, we are busy getting our new iPhone, or the Wi-Fi is not working, or all these kind of very important things, and suddenly it's like, hey, stop! Nature is telling us enough is enough. You have to sit home and contemplate a little bit. So I would be disappointed if it doesn't bring anything, if we just go back to what was 2 years ago,
Yes.
you know. But yeah, how it will become, I don't know. It's of course difficult.
I'm quite afraid for the movement that you already see now, that people just say, things are possible again.
But
Yes.
Forget about this and continue exactly where we stopped. And I really hope also for myself that I can maintain the, let's say, the awareness of the beauty of silence sometimes, or not running around like crazy and taking time for things, and
but also
cooking dinners.
And you see beauty that is actually existing very close home.
Yeah.
Maybe in your house even, and you don't need to go necessarily very far away.
Yeah.
And
No, but also I think there are also the aspects that we shouldn't forget. Like in the week, in second week, I also programmed a few concerts that are actually remind us about the times of war, right?
Yeah.
And there's also a brilliant piece that you will be playing with our
it's so cool.
other musicians, Bieber,
Battaglia.
Battaglia.
Yeah,
So
Battaglia.
if you can tell us a little bit about the...
Look, I love this piece, and I've played it a couple of times. It's really, all the facets of war are coming there together, and from soldiers marching quite confident to another battleground, getting drunk at night and losing their confidence a little bit, an aria where they are contemplating life, the battle, of course, which is really raw and quite violent, and then the last bit of the piece is literally the wounded and killed on the battlefield. And it's amazing. It is with such vision. It's composed with such vision, and it's almost like he's showing us, look, this is actually what it is about, you know. And it's a fantastic piece. Special effects and everything.
Yeah.
I should tell the double bass player about it.
Yeah, which is just behind the camera.
Really cool.
Well, in the same concert we're playing together La Valse of Ravel, which is this is one of my favorite pieces, and I think still you hear some sound of the bombs going down, for me, even though he wrote himself that it had nothing to do with it, but it was a dedication to the Viennese waltz, right?
But it feels like it's a waltz that there's a very dark shadow.
Exactly.
It's a bit like the waltz on the Titanic, let's say. It's like we try to keep the nice feeling, but we know that we are going down.
Yes.
Wonderful music. I don't know the arrangement, so I'm very much looking forward.
I played it once, so that will be my second.
So you tell me what to do.
No, you tell me. We'll just find our rhythm together. Good. So there will be very much looking forward, and of course. This concert is very special. I think it will be in the end because we have a very nice combination of pieces and composers. And the last question to you, Delft. What does it mean to you, the city? I mean, both of you, you're Dutch, you're born in the Netherlands, and Delft must be something also in a way very special, right? Because of its history. But what does it...
Well, for me, it's like one of the spots where we always take our foreign friends, and especially Georgians when they come. Of course, they want to go to Delft, and they're amazed by all the things that we take for granted. Yeah, okay, this is Delft, and for them it's like, oh my goodness, it's Delft, you know. And it's so nice actually to rediscover your own country with your foreign guests, and it's gorgeous. I've been to the festival once as a listener. I think Dimitri Sitkovetsky was playing. He's a good friend, but for the rest, it's our first time to play there also.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And for you, Bart?
Yeah, I have to say I don't know Delft that well, but the times I've been, I like it very much. I remember one evening when I was a student, and some high school friends of mine they went studying in the technical university in Delft, and they they took me to a cocktail bar.
Oh God.
Okay.
So that's my
That's
most
your experience
that's
of
my
Delft.
most vivid memory of Delft. So let's see
Okay.
what this time being in Delft brings.
I think we'll discover quite a lot during the
Good
week
to
when
cocktails.
we're there,
Yeah.
everything together. Yes. Thank you so much for speaking with me and having this
Please.
conversation. And I'm very much looking forward to playing with you and hosting you during the festival. And
Thanks so much, Nino.
Thank you.
see you this summer.
Yes.
Thanks.